So I got the Mobius back on my hat, where I'm more comfortable with it, frankly. It makes a good hat cam. I got the Commander out again. This cowling tends to keep wanting to come forwards, which bothers me. Various things bother me about this plane, but what can you do? Oops-a-daisy. I don't know. And we've got the EFC-721 on him with difficulty. I mounted it once and then decided, so we're going to start that recording, all being well. Yep, that's recording now. I had it mounted further back, but then I decided you weren't really going to be able to see anything much from it there, so I moved it at kind of the last minute. Haven't had this guy out for a while. I don't know, I just didn't work all that much enthusiasm up for him when I had him out at first. The Valiant, which I bought just before him, I bought both of them fairly early in the year. I really love the Valiant. I've flown it a lot, both on wheels and floats, and you know, I'm very happy with it. This guy I haven't flown so much. He flies okay, but he has a tendency to be a bit on the tail heavy side, however far forward you put the battery, and I don't know. I just didn't work up as much enthusiasm for him. But let's see what we can do. This is the E-flite Commander. Since he's got flaps,
takeoff flaps,
we'll give him a bit of flap. I don't think he needs a lot of flap really, but
throttle cut off.
And we've got him in mid-rates at the moment. Tail dragger. I'll try and keep his tail down initially. Well, he certainly takes off okay. You can't complain about that. He's not one of these planes that's balky about taking off.
Flaps up.
Take the flaps off. At least it's clear now, and it's fairly mild this morning. Of course, no good deed goes unpunished. It's mild, with the result the bugs are biting me through my blasted shirt. Whole flock of birds there. I think we've got stabilization on at the moment. Let's bring him back a bit closer and then we'll take it off. Yeah, there we go.
AS3X mode.
There you go. You could call it what you like. I tend to call it AS3X mode. Well, I tend to put that on as the announcement, because it is.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
He has AS3X on. This is the other thing about him. Although actually I should have put that up, because that was based on a 5-minute timer for a 2200, and he's actually got a 3300 in now, so he could go. So I meant to put it up. I meant to increase the time and forgot to do so. He's got a 5-minute timer on. He could easily have a 7-minute timer on with this battery. This is a 30, well, assuming it's fully charged, which I didn't, I must admit, check. Should be, I mean. But I didn't charge it like yesterday. I charged it a week or two ago, so, you know, it's probably lost a bit of charge sitting. They do. It's not been sitting for like months or anything, but I can't remember exactly when I charged it last, probably a couple of weeks ago, something like that.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
It just sounds so short. I feel like I've just taken him off. And we're saying only 3 minutes left, but it's really more like 5 minutes left. Let's give him some power. Yeah, he certainly rolls more snappily if you give him a bit more power. He doesn't roll that great if you try and roll him when he's going slowly, which I suppose is forgivable. You have to... He flies better. I mean, you can fly him slowly. You can fly him quite slowly. You can slow him down quite a bit. But he doesn't fly very well slowly. Hang on, I'm going to put
Safe mode.
I'm putting stabilization on because my hat is falling off.
AS3X mode.
I just put stabilization on while I took my hand off the stick to pull my hat down more firmly. A constant problem.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
It's a bit damp. What little hair I've got left puffs up and the hat slips off. Okay, where are we? so say, if you want to do anything very exciting with him, you want, on the whole, to give him more throttle, because he does not like, he's not very responsive when he's going slowly. He's got throttle, he's got enough power. He's heavy though, that's one of his big problems, frankly. He's a very heavy plane, which I think leads to a lot of his problems. So he needs a lot of power, he's got lots of power, but even so, he needs it because he's heavy. He wants to fly reasonably fast, and then because of all that,
1 minute.
it's you know, it's kind of hard to what am I talking about? You need to fly him faster to maneuver him. You need to put the battery. It's hard to get the center of gravity where you want. Even with a big battery like this, you've got to put it like all the way forwards to really get him to trim out properly and balance.
30 seconds.
And in fact, the balance is actually behind where they say it's supposed to be even now, with the 3300 shoved right up till it's actually touching the foam at the front, so it
20 seconds.
so it could not go any further without cutting foam out. Oh, it's going to do this annoying countdown thing. I should have taken that off.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time expired.
Yeah, but that's time for a 2200, as I say. And he's got a 3300 in him. I don't know. I have to say, you know, my opinion of him doesn't change a lot from what it was initially. Yes, you know, he's okay, but for me, I'm sorry, I've got to adjust my hat yet again. It's all this staring up. It keeps coming off, and oh dear. Yeah, my opinion of him is still pretty much the same as it was. I'm not that pleased with him, really. I mean, you know, you have to put a big battery in him and to get him to balance, and but even with the big battery in, you don't get much time. I guess, you know, if you want to punch him fast and whatever, he can do some pretty fancy
1
stuff.
minute over.
But yeah, we really should be landing him now.
Takeoff flaps.
We should be landing him now, even with this battery. He's reasonably floaty with the flaps. He can fly quite slowly. It's dark still over there. He can fly quite slowly, and you know, he's got lots of lift. Although he's heavy, he's got lots of lift with these flaps. Oh, we'll bring him down and run him right up to the end.
Flaps up.
And he should be perfectly capable of taxiing on the grass, this guy. He's got lots of power. So there's no reason he can't taxi on the grass. That'll do.
Throttle cut on.
Yep. Oh dear. But his center of gravity is, even with that 3300 all the way forward, his center of gravity is still after the position that they nominally say in the manual it should be. And he weighs a lot. He's a heavy plane. Heavy plane. Relatively short flight times. Needs to be flown fairly fast to maneuver well. Though it can be flown slowly, certainly. There's absolutely it can be flown slowly. It just doesn't maneuver very well when it's flying slowly. Oh well, and we'll stop the EFC recording. Yep, the EFC's stopped now. So there you go. See if we can have a look. So we flew, that's 1 minute and 47 over, so we flew for almost 7 minutes there, 6 minutes and 57, well, with the taxiing as well, but that's still using power. That's his battery hatch. Ah, dee-dee-dee-dee. I don't know where the balance plug on this thing is. There we go. And that 3300 is down to 11.5. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's 7. It's actually a bit uneven as well, around about 3.8-ish. So generally speaking, yes, that's about 7 minutes is about what you want to let him fly with that 7. And see, you can see how far that battery is actually pushed up till it's touching the foam there. It could not go any further forward. And even with that battery, that heavy battery all the way forward there, his center of gravity is still almost half an inch behind where they say it should be. Anyway, with a little bit of down trim on the elevators, he flies fairly reasonably like that. I mean, it doesn't seem to be really a problem, but anyway, mixed feelings about this guy. He's not one I'm highly enthusiastic about. I'm highly enthusiastic about the Valiant, for example, which is a similar size plane that came out around the same time. The Valiant works extremely well for me. This guy not so much, but I mean, you know, it's not awful, but you don't get the same kind of flight time. Valiant can fly longer than that on a 2200 and just seems to me much more controllable and has the float option, and it's just works a lot better for me, really, than this guy.